Welcome back to the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased.
Except ours.
I am Colin.
I am Craig.
That's right.
No, I'm Daniel.
So in honor of that new Meg movie, the one with the Megalodon coming out, the Meg 2, The Deep Trench, I think it's called.
No, I think it's just
Oh,
the
the
trench,
Trench.
not Deep Trench.
Meg 2, The Trench. We decided to watch the first Meg, which came out in 2018. It's based off a book, which I did not know of until recently. And I guess when we're done with our thoughts, I will talk about some of the differences I found with the book and the movie. And
You read the book?
No, I
Wait,
looked
someone,
up. I
someone
looked up
wrote a
online.
book on this?
Yeah, it's based off a book.
Wow.
So it was actually a pretty good box office success. It grossed $530 million worldwide.
Gross.
And I guess let's talk about if we liked it or not. And I kind of liked it. I feel like it didn't utilize its ridiculous premise to its fullest. It felt like a Cocaine Bear situation where you have the stuff, the ingredients for a terrible but fun movie, and it doesn't fully utilize it. Yes? No?
I mean, I just didn't. I didn't really like it at all.
Huh.
I just didn't care. Like, I was just, like, when I was watching, I was just indifferent to it. Like, I don't hate it, and I don't really like it.
It felt very lame at times.
The one thing I'll say, I guess I'll compliment the movie on, which, kind of like Cocaine Bears, the movie didn't take long to get going. It didn't. I was worried like it would drag to like introduce the Megalodon stuff, but it kind of just got right into it and just kept going, which I'll give the movie that.
I just like how casual Jason Statham was when he sees the Megalodon, a creature extinct for, at least 10 million years. He's like, Megalodon, like he's seen it the other day. He's so casual
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. Yeah, like when he first was like, everyone's like, "What is that?" It's a Megalodon. It's like, how would you know that?
Megalodon.
It's like normally I'm okay with that kind of stuff, but like I was just maybe it's me, but I was just not in the mood because Colin's like, "Oh, let's watch the Meg." I'm like, "Oh, great, another bad movie we have to watch." So stuff like that. Just maybe I wasn't in the mood for this time. But I was like, it's like the old Sci-Fi Channel. All these terrible movies, these terrible premises. Because that's what it feels like. Only thing it's missing is the giant squid it's gonna fight.
That's in the sequel.
Are you joking?
I think they fight a kraken in the sequel.
No, that I saw one of the trailers. It's like revealed there's like a kraken that's gonna fight.
Yeah.
I that was just not a joke. I was just trying. I was trying to make a joke. I didn't
Yeah,
think it was actually
Craig's secretly a big fan of the Meg.
happening. I was thinking of what was it, Sharktopus or something? Remember that terrible
Do
sci-fi
you remember
show
Ghost
movie?
Shark, where it could attack anybody as long as there's a body of water or just water near you?
Yeah, like
Come
your
and
fault,
kill
your
you.
sink or your yeah. I remember one kid died going down like the slip and slide and the shark ate him.
Yeah. See, I feel like the movie should have been more schlocky. Because at
Yeah.
times it seems like it's trying to have fun, and then it gets like really serious at times.
Yeah, because the way they played it in the beginning, it was like it was almost going for that serious tone. Like they're down in this trench, and you can't see anything. It's ramming them, and it's there's like a bit of like pop ups and stuff, and but then it kind of takes you out of it with like the dialogue from the characters. Like the characters, the dialogue was probably my biggest complaint of this film because they're all the characters like their dialogue just sucked.
Yeah, it was pretty film schooly dialogue.
Yeah, I was gonna say it felt like like some college or high school student did that.
I was gonna say you said conflicting tone, but that could be it's based off a book, right? How close did they follow the book? Is that why it's
Uh,
conflicting?
I do know, so I guess let's talk about some of the differences. The megalodons in the book only attacked at night because they also look different. Apparently, they looked like they were like translucent, kind of, because they adapted to living in the deep sea. Let me see what it said. Yeah, it
Oh,
says
so that was actually like a sci-fi book, and this
yeah,
is
in the
just
book,
schlock.
I'm assuming
See
it's more
that?
serious. It says
Yeah,
in the
see that?
book, the
Yeah.
Meg only attacked at night since living in the deep water made its eyes sensitive to light. It only attacked in the daylight when it had been blinded during the course of the book. And then it says the movie, however, had the Meg in daylight with no consequence.
Yeah, see like that. See that? If they played it more like a sci-fi movie, like that would have been much better because it would have been an interesting element instead of just a 70-foot, ancient shark just killing people.
I think also it said in the book the megalodons are pure white, almost luminescent from living in an environment with virtually no light. So they actually probably looked a lot cooler in the book.
Probably more
Yeah,
distinct. 'Cause this is basically like
It's
a
a giant great
B
white.
movie ripoff of Jaws more than
it's
anything.
just Jaws on steroids.
Yeah, because at least that's trying to like maybe again the sci-fi side of it. This is just hey, big shark. Oh,
Yeah, I feel like maybe if it went closer to the book, 'cause it seems like the book is more of a thriller than whatever this is. I don't know what this
Well,
is.
especially because at night, if they only attack at night, it gives you you can easily play into suspense.
Oh yeah, it's a lot
Like,
more tense than just fighting in broad daylight. Where you could see this lumbering giant shark swimming right at you.
well, unless they confuse it for a whale, like they did in the movie, which I don't know how you do.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, that part because I was looking at like whether it's showing like the shining the light on it and everything. There's no fin. I'm like, how do you confuse a whale for a shark, especially a like 70-foot shark?
Yeah, I don't know. So let's talk about because I know Craig doesn't like it at all. So
Well,
Craig, how
Colin, do
about
you want?
what?
Go ahead. Sorry,
I was gonna
sorry.
say, Craig, I know you didn't like it. How about you tell us what you didn't like? Because I have a feeling I know what it is.
Well, I was
at
gonna
least
say,
things.
Colin, should Craig give a plot?
Oh yeah, Craig, give us a plot breakdown while you're at it too.
Why do I always have to do this?
Look
Whatever.
for the movies you love.
Yeah, whatever. All right. Yeah. So beginning of the movie, some Grayson Statham, has to like abandon people in the sub because he's getting attacked by some mysterious creature. Then 5 years later, they're at some Chinese, not Chinese, deep speed, deep deep sea research vessel, whatever, and people get stuck under the trench, and then they get Grayson Statham back to save them. But because they saved them, the megalodon can like go through some warm water to get back to the surface and starts attacking them. Starts killing people, kills all their friends. Who cares? Dwight dies, and then they kill at the end.
Dwight dies.
Yeah, he felt very out of place in this movie.
Well, his character was such a like exaggerated
He was like a dude
stock
bro kind of.
character. Yeah,
He was like that
yeah,
hip, eccentric billionaire.
yeah.
Whoa, that's cool. He even had like did he? I don't know if I'm misremembering this, but he had like a hat on sideways. He's wearing like he's wearing like LeBron James shoes or Jordans.
Yeah, he did have Jordans because when he got off the helicopter for
Yeah,
the
they
first
showed
time,
that.
the
I
camera
remember
did a
that.
close up of it, and I was like,
Oh, you don't
oh
want to like our
god.
five fans to have a LeBron versus Jordan
Oh,
argument in the
yeah, that's
comments,
true.
right?
I don't
They're
want
not
that.
the same player.
I didn't say they were. I just didn't know.
You got Jordans confused with
Don't
LeBrons,
they
all right?
both have shoes? Shut up,
I don't
Craig.
know, but don't confuse
Shut
them.
up.
They do.
Yeah, he just looked like a 50-year-old man acting like a 25-year-old. It was really weird.
He's
Yeah,
probably
like,
some like what Silicon Valley billionaire.
yeah, he
God
definitely
knows what.
gave me vibes like he might go to college parties still.
He's like that professor that goes to college parties uninvited.
I think his character was easily the worst part of this film.
Yeah, I mean, Craig, do you want to talk about why you didn't really like it? Because I don't know how much this movie was co-financed or financed by China, but oh boy, is there a lot of uh
What is there to like? I mean, it's stupid. Plot's terrible. Characters are terrible. Special effects aren't great. If I didn't say that already, like, what is there to like
I
about it?
didn't think the VFX was bad.
Every time like the sharks were like swimming, I'm like Jesus. Like every time like a swarm of sharks come, like remember they attack the whale? It's like Jesus, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Terrible. Also, too, like every time they were in the ocean, it was so obvious that they were like in a pool.
I think you're just letting your anger get the best of you, Craig.
But it's just like I know they're in a pool like somewhere, some set. Like it's clearly not the ocean because like they would salt water, right? And like every time they put their heads underwater, like they put goggles on with like salt water. I'm like, you can't see. You can't have your eyes open that long.
Well,
It'll
depend
burn your eyes.
where did the movie take place? They're near the Mariana Trench.
Yeah, but they're also in near China.
Oh yeah, those waters are definitely not clear. I'm surprised you didn't see like plastic in the ocean.
Although I am surprised they referenced shark fin soup. I didn't think they would go there.
I'm trying to see.
Because the Marianas Trench, it's in the South, no, not South China Sea, but it's in the Pacific. Doesn't matter.
It's east of the Philippines and it's south of Japan, the Mariana Trench. I'm looking at a map right now. Okay. Uh, I mean that stuff doesn't bother me where they could see underwater clearly.
Well,
Because
like also because they're clearly in a pool, like
well,
that.
yeah,
That's why.
that doesn't bother me. I mean, I think if it followed the book more closely, I think it definitely could have been better. Just from what I've read about the book, I haven't read it entirely. I never, like I said, I didn't even know there was a book. But it just seems like the book played it more straight, and I think, especially
Almost
utilizing that nighttime aspect where it only attacks at night, seems so much more interesting than this giant shark. Which realistically, if this thing is near the surface, it could get killed easily. Like if a helicopter just comes in, like they're so incompetent in this movie. Make up something why you can't kill it. Just don't show people being competent. That's so annoying.
Well, yeah, it's another reason why I didn't like it. People were incompetent. The stupid, love story between Race and Statham and the Chinese girl and her daughter and her father. It's like all this stupid stuff.
Greg, her name is Suyin.
I don't know. They don't have names. They're just, this checkbox or whatever.
What the one thing I was wondering is why they couldn't get an older actor to play Suyun's father. The guy looked like he was maybe 5 years older than her.
Yeah, it says he's born. Okay, so he was born in 1960. She was born in 1973, so they're only 13 years apart. It's just like the Last Crusade. Harrison Ford was only 12 years younger than Sean Connery. It's like you can. I mean, at least that one, Sean Connery looks so much older. He aged terribly. But this guy just doesn't look that much older than her, and yeah, he's only 13 years older than her.
Because at first, like, if they wanted to play him as like her husband, her ex-husband, or whatever, that would have made sense.
Yeah, and I realized too. Do you remember Batwoman? She was in this movie too.
Before she what like broke her back or something.
Yeah, before the probably stunt team accident like almost killed her.
Was that actually what happened?
I don't know. I know she like hurt her back from Batwoman or something.
Yeah, imagine breaking your back for that show.
Yeah, that's that'd be pretty embarrassing. Dana, why don't you tell us about what you liked and didn't, or at least what you didn't like? I know you gave us
I think you
breadcrumbs.
should say what you do like because I think the dislike is gonna be much more.
That's okay. Let's just say your dislikes, and then we'll talk about our
Um,
likes.
I guess I liked. Well, I liked the pacing of it. How this movie just went right into it, and if they had stayed in the Mariana Trench, I would have liked this a lot better. I think they should have stayed in that setting more of than bringing a shark to the surface. But other than that, that was about it. um, what I didn't like was the characters and the
Mm-hmm.
dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just another generic shark going around. And also, too, like they didn't, if you're gonna bring the shark to the surface and it's like, oh, this thing is could kill people, it's like, well, then focus on that. Like they at the end, like they set it up like, oh, this populated beach area. It's like, oh, we gotta stop it from killing people. And it's like it shows up, drags like those two rafts, he eats that poor guy in the bouncy ball. and then that was it. It's like then they pulled it away with the whale call. It was like, I think if you're worried about it actually killing people, like in that sense of like, oh, we gotta actually have it like show more of its carnage with people. Like they kind of like it was like, oh, three boats got destroyed. They go and see the carnage of the boats. Like, why don't you show the shark attacking them? Or I think too they could have like when they brought the helicopter in, they could have had like maybe the shark jumps out of the water and pulls it
That's what
down.
I was thinking. It was like so when they put the tracker on the shark and they start shooting at it, I thought the shark was gonna jump out of the water because that helicopter was so comically close to it. Like
Yeah,
they were pretty much asking to get killed. It seemed like they were so low, and then the
yeah,
shark just swims away.
yeah. There was a lot of things they could have just. That's why I think it's like it would have serviced better if they didn't bring the shark to the surface, or if you do, then utilize it more. Like use that prompt, but like I think it would have fit better as you have this like 70-foot shark in the Mariana Trench where you can't really see it, and they have to try to fight it down there. I think that would have been better. But and then I was confused too. So with that first shark,
I think that
that
was like its
megalodon,
baby.
because that one was like 50 feet.
Yeah,
That looked like, and then the big one, but they didn't explain it. It was just like, oh, there's another shark or something like that. Like how I know they said like there was like a gap big enough for 20 sharks to swim out, but I I don't know I think it would have been better if you knew that both sharks were there and they had to like split up and try to stop them both, and you just have two sharks running around killing people. But the movie just it didn't utilize its setting enough. I feel like, and the characters were bad. Like everyone's dialogue felt so film schooly. Um, Dwight was annoying in this,
I was gonna say I
but
don't know why the movie really tried to make you think like there wasn't a second one because it was so obvious that after you kill the first one like halfway through the movie, it's so obvious that there's gonna be a second one.
well, I also knew that I kind of figured there'd be a second one as well. Well, yeah, they killed it like halfway through the movie, but also too, the scene said Megalodon, Megalodon's like when they're having the meeting after they like rescue the first crew and everything, and she says Megalodons can get up to like 75 to like 90 feet, something ridiculous, which isn't true.
Yeah, I
But
don't think that's
okay,
true.
okay, what?
I was gonna say yeah, I don't think that's true.
So, but the film establishes it that megalodons are like like they can grow that big. So I'm like, okay, but this shark looks like it's 50, which is probably closer to what the actual megalodons were. So when this one was smaller, I was like, I think there's probably another one.
Yeah. Um, trying to think. I'm just reading about the
Wait.
megalodon.
When was the book written?
97.
Wow.
And the book also had a sequel, which is what the movie's based off of. But
I think that would have been much cooler if they stayed close to the books. Like you have these um if you don't stay down in the trench, which I think would have been just a good
yeah,
enough
because you
setting
could play on
itself.
that like fear. Because did you ever see those videos where, like the other day I was playing? This is kind of related. I was playing GTA 5 just because I was bored, and I'd go
How's this
out.
related?
Well, no, listen. I'll just go out to the ocean and I'll try to go shark hunting. And then when I was doing it at night, like in the game, it was at night. And then I swam out too far, and then my thing broke, my little ship, and then the shark killed me. I was just thinking like before that happened, how scary it is. It must be at night. Just you're dark. It's all dark out. You can't see anything really, and then you just look around, no land. The movie could have played to that in the bottom of the ocean, like we said. It's just dark. You can't see anything. Maybe people would complain about, oh well, it's too dark or whatever. But I think, like Daniel said, you could easily get those cheap, like jump scares. And plus, I think that's just scarier in general than, like I said, you see this giant 70-foot fish swimming at you. It's like, well, you can see that coming a mile away.
Yeah, and then also too, like they have the technology where they were dropping light, so you have enough light that you can see kind of something, but not enough that you can't really make out too much of what it is to play into it more. Plus, if the shark is like kind of more of like translucent, or was it bioluminescent, or was it just translucent?
It said it was like in the book. It was. Let me see. They're almost luminescent, so they're pure white in the book.
Yeah, like that in the Mariana Trench.
That'd be scary.
Yeah, I think they should have played to that more than the crew, like, because that takes you out of it too. Like when they're making these like quips, while they're still hunting this 50 to 70 foot shark, like the crew's joking around and everything, and it's just like, why? Like they should have played. The crew should have been played more serious than like. It felt like almost part of their dialogue. Like some of the crew, it felt like it was almost like a parody of like a Jaws film at times.
But see, this because this was a co-production with China, I wonder, like, they don't have great taste. So I wonder, like, a lot of the decisions they were making were to maybe dumb it down for their audience.
That's like a lot of movies that are made for China. It just seems like not necessarily dumb it down, but it's made for people who don't speak English. So they have to like explain everything over and over again like they're dumb.
Well, but like, I think they have a lot of cliches too, like, not cliches, just like, again, just nothing interesting. You got to make it mass appeal for the billions of people there.
And I'm reading right now about the megalodon. They said it probably wasn't even like 67 feet long. It could have been as long as like 34 feet.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's still big, but like, it's not movie monster material.
yeah, that's more closer to like a killer whale size.
Yeah. It's an extinct species of mackerel shark, and I don't know when they changed this, but apparently it used to be thought as a close relative of the great white, but it's not anymore. However, it is now classified into the extinct family. I can't even pronounce that, which diverged from the great white during the early Cretaceous. Interesting.
It's settled, Colin. Science is settled.
I honestly, yeah, I can't speak. I also thought it would have been cool if they talked about more of the megalodon as like a species in the movie. They didn't really do that. They
Yeah,
just
they
treated it
should have.
like it was some mindless animal. I think it would have been cooler if
I mean,
if
they
you.
acted like a mindless animal.
Well,
They
yeah,
like
that
killed
too.
anything that moved.
Yeah,
But the people could have like actually treated it more as like a dinosaur, like this like new species. It was like, oh, that's a megalodon.
yeah, like it's a living relic, and they all kind of just like shrug and are like, "Oh, that's cool, I guess."
Got to kill it immediately.
Well, except for Su Yin, who said,
Her
"No,
father.
let's try a non what."
It was her
Well, no,
father.
Su Yin what?
But he also was like, "That's all we do. We just kill." It's like, oh my god, if you couldn't get him more on
Yeah,
the nose.
yeah. Well, yeah, and then she also was like, "Oh, let's try a non-lethal option." I'm like, I would have been like, "What?" This thing just like just tried to kill us down in the trench. Killed
It's
a
killing
crew
for
before.
fun. Not like it's killing for
Yeah.
food. It's like killing for fun.
Why don't you kill it and then study its body after? You could still study its body after. You don't.
You just chop its fins off and throw it back in.
Oh my god. You're sick,
I
man.
also thought. I also thought the ending was very underwhelming. Like how they killed the shark, I thought
If
was
I'm not
stupid.
mistaken, it said in the book it was no, never mind. I'm thinking of Jaws. I don't know if you knew this, but in the book Jaws, it kind of ends like Moby Dick, where Brody mortally wounds the shark and it's about to get him, and it just dies in front of him. Not as cool as blowing it up with a gun. But it was kind of like the same thing where they like stabbed its underside and just like bled out in front of Jason Statham.
Well, not like they stabbed to use the ships like drive through it. I'm like,
Yeah, you see like its guts coming. I was like, oh my god.
it's a little silly having your ship cut in half.
And he like stabs it in the eye.
Oh yeah, because that was the thing too. Like he swims out and like stabs it in the eye, like he's swimming around and like holding on. It's just stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I think
stuff is
that
just kind
they
of
should.
lame.
Yeah, they should have. Yeah, there should have been like an actual more smarter, like not smarter, but a cooler way to take it out, like blow it up. Especially like when they poisoned the first one, I was like, oh,
Yeah, because it's like you bring up that idea, like why can't you just do that again? You poison the first one.
yeah.
I don't know. There's a problem with these kind of movies where you don't want to introduce too much logic into it, Or you don't want to kill it in a clever way, because then the audience would be like, well, why can't you just do that again? Especially if you have two. If they poison the first one after like a bunch of failed attempts and there's only one shark, that would be okay. Because they even try to do that in Jaws. They try to poison the shark. And that's when like Hooper almost dies. But I just feel like if you introduce all these, different ways of possibly killing it, and then everything just, I don't know. I don't know even trying to say.
Well,
I'm
see,
just trying to
I
say
think
like,
that goes back.
yeah,
That
you
goes
go.
back to your point of if they if they made it a little bit more like if they went a little more sci-fi with the megalodon instead of making it a just normal megalodon, but just made like the only modification they made was it was like oh it was bigger. Like they should have done it like more with the book where like it adapted in some way to being down in the the harsh conditions of the trench where it then like maybe its skin is tougher so bullets can't you can't penetrate its skin in a normal way or you can't see it as well because then you can kind of take away that we can't just logically poison it like an animal we have to kill it so your characters are forced to actually do something clever and then you can play around with it
Or,
but when it's
or
just
also, I was just thinking that if you're in the trench, and I don't know, can people even be in like ships down there, like little probes in the trench? I don't think you can.
I don't think we can do that yet.
But let's just say, for the sake of the story, you can do that. It's like you have to try to outmaneuver the shark and get it in a certain kill zone, because if the shark hits your ship, you're dead. Like you have to, like you can only get hit once or something because the immense pressure. Like that adds more tension, and I think that's just more interesting. Where like, oh, you have to like outmaneuver the shark and bring it to an area and then try to kill it instead of just it running around or swimming around mindlessly. I don't know. I think
Like
that
a
would be,
generic action
yeah,
hero.
I think that would be cooler where you have to kind of outsmart the shark in its own environment. And then you're already vulnerable enough where if your ship gets hit by this giant thing, you just die. Because I think that's how it'd probably be, right, Craig? If like,
But then how could we not show the Chinese beach party?
yeah, that was not shot anywhere near China.
or if you or if you do have the beach party have more fun with it. Like, see, that's where you could add the schlock. Is the shark killing people like that guy in the ball just getting popped?
Could you imagine the shark just uses its big tail fin, just swipes up at the water, and just sends people flying in the air? Or like its
Like,
tail crashes down on people. Like that would be so cool. It just passive aggressively swims under people for the most part, and then like eats that one guy who's in the beach ball,
Wait,
trying to
did you
like
ever
pull away.
that part did get me to chuckle because I got just popped.
He didn't deserve to die like that. What were you saying, Craig?
No, because you're talking like flipping people up. Did you ever see the videos of like the killer whales like flipping up like dolphins or
It's no
sharks in the air?
seals. I think it's
Oh yeah,
seals.
seals. Yeah, just torturing them.
Yeah, do something like that. Like, there's your moments where it could be like serious and whatnot, especially if like we said, if it's more closer to the book. And then you can have fun if it's just like there's a buffet of people there. You know.
But see, at least a scene like that could show you that it's intelligent, that it's smart enough to know it's torturing an animal. This is just like literally like it's almost like it's so stupid. It's like just programmed to kill anything that moves.
Yeah, it's like a heat seeking missile.
Yeah, the only like thing that they talk about is like it senses like vibration and stuff. Like panic swimming, they said.
It's like okay, but like it does the movie again, it doesn't come off like any sort of thinking from the animal. It's just again, I'm going to go straight into this and I'm going to eat it and then eat the next thing I see. Forever and ever and ever.
Yeah. But yeah, they really missed out like on the helicopter scene or like even like what they could have done, is like with that dead whale scene, like when they when they just drop the charges on that whale. Like they could have I don't know, like there could have been like that could have been like they could have had more fun with that scene. I don't know. I don't know how, but I feel like it's just like it was just like lot like it just should have been more schlocky like that.
I know it's like, oh, Dwight slips into the water and then
I
like
feel
how
like
can
at
that
times they just didn't know what to do with the shark. They're like, oh,
apparently.
it needs to show up here and it has to be violent and it has to run into everything it sees. It's like almost comical how violent and aggressive it is.
It doesn't feel like an animal at all. Like in Jaws, it still kind of felt like an animal. Like Jurassic Park, they feel like animals.
Well, the whole point in Jaws is just like the mayor was refusing to close the beaches, and that's why the shark would just had like a buffet of people to eat. It
No,
was
but like
just
it wasn't
acting on
like
instinct.
yeah, but it wasn't like like overeating or like it wasn't anything too crazy. It was like this movie. If it was
I
the
mean, the craziest
Megalodon.
thing it did jump onto a ship in that movie.
Oh, wait, that was at the end though.
I know, but
Yeah, because it's like it's like it's like it won't stop eating. Like it just keeps eating and eating and eating and eating. Like it doesn't like take any breaks.
I mean, to be fair though, that's like a massive animal. Probably have to eat a lot to not die.
Well, you would think it would go for whales. Like it would be
Yeah, it wouldn't even
like
bother with the small
bigger
things.
targets. It wouldn't be going for people. Like they wouldn't quench its hunger.
Or it
But
wouldn't expend so much energy trying to get just one person.
because I remember, was it Jaws 3 when the son dies like at night?
Fourth one.
Fourth one, like that scene.
Jaws 27.
I think
But
it's
I
just
mean,
here.
but that scene, like you put yourself in that, like we were saying before, like that, like you could have had a scene like that with the megalodon. Like it's bumping like you put like it's like, oh, it broke out now, and it's like the first victim they show is like some deep sea, like because the shark's big, you can have like some deep sea ship at night, and it's just toying with the ship at night, and then it kills the crew. Like you could, like they could have had a scene like that. Like how terrifying would that be, a 70-foot shark just toying with your ship at night?
Yeah, you can't see anything. Again, it's like it's more scary what you don't see than what you actually see. That's why Jaws is still like the best shark movie.
It's the fear of the unknown, right?
Yeah,
Like
you
that's
don't
what it gives to
see the
people.
shark half the movie. Like not even half. Like 90% of the time, you don't see the shark.
Which
Yeah,
was a little, it was also for technical reasons, but
Well, yeah,
besides the point.
yeah, it worked to their advantage. Because if imagine you have the same script and Jaws was made today, it would be just like this movie where you have to see the shark. The shark would probably jump out of the water and do like some, I don't know, some like cool spin move, and then it
As
would
a
land on
music
the ship.
number.
Yeah, I think the sequel, from what the trailers look like, it looks like it's having more fun, where the sharks are just doing ridiculous things. And I think you either go all in or you don't go down that path. This movie tries to have a little bit of both and it fails. Like if you're gonna go full schlock, go full schlock. Don't go halfway. Bring on the stupid. That's all I'm saying. I
yeah,
said
like
that for
like
Jurassic World, for Fast and Furious. Bring on the stupid.
no, like I think like a fun scene like they could have done, right? Like now that you have a ridiculously large shark, it's like you have like a group of people like whale watching or whatever, and they're like, oh, like how how nice, and then just you see the shark like pick up one of the whales and just go like over the ship or something like that. It like throws a whale into the ship. Like play around with the plot like that. You have a ridiculously big shark, do that instead of like, oh, the shark just goes after like a beach of people. Yeah, I think like that would be, because it can kind of play into the schlock, but you also then like see how big the shark is, and like it's just hunting like that. Like that would be more fun.
Like I said, just you don't teeter one way or another. Like either you go full schlock or you take it seriously, like how it seems like the book was. Because like I said, the trailer just looks so dumb for the new one. It's Craig. I don't know if you saw it, but it starts off with this T
I
Rex.
didn't see it because I was like, you guys were talking about. I made that joke before. I'm like, I no, I
This
haven't seen
T
the
Rex is
trailer.
trying to eat. Like this is the Cretaceous. This T Rex is trying to eat this disgusting little dinosaur thing, and it's by the beach. And then this megalodon just comes out of the water and just eats it. It beaches itself to try to get this T Rex. And then there's like a
But
kraken too in there somewhere.
yeah, but see, that plays better to it. Like just go all in for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's don't do like this is like Cocaine Bear where it was like, oh, we're trying to be schlocky, but we're not. Like I said, do one or the other. Don't try to have a balance because it just doesn't work. And this is an example where it just feels like they didn't know what to do or what kind of tone they were going for, and they try to have fun, and they missed out on a lot.
And maybe just cut all the dialogue from characters. Just
Maybe
only
just have a
have the
silent film. Just have a silent film.
only the screams of people fill the
The only
audio.
line in the movie I want is just Jason Statham casually saying, "Some megalodon." It's like your neighbor. Like you've seen it before, totally.
And then you have Tyrese Gibson coming in like, that's not a shark, that's a submarine.
Oh God, God.
Don't tell me to stop. Tell them to stop writing his horrible lines like that.
No, but what if he might be ad-libbing those? Because like I can't imagine someone's writing that thinking that's gold. He has to be ad-libbing thinking he's hilarious.
Yeah.
See, I wanted to bring this up if we ever got to the beginning of the movie, but I don't know if you remember at the beginning of the movie, they show like some Chinese city and they have like the generic location text, like this Chinese city, blah blah blah, like establishing shots, and then they go to the base or the research facility and do the exact same thing, establishing shots, the generic location text. I'm like, why would you need that twice? Like, there's no point to show off the city. Like, why didn't you just go straight to the research facility?
Because you had to know it was off the coast of Shanghai, Craig.
You could have said that. You could have said like 500 miles off the coast of Shanghai, like what most other movies do. I don't know, it just felt very amateurish and just Chinese pandering.
What was the other movie we watched that had a lot of Chinese pandering? Oh, it was Pacific Rim 2. Yeah, that's right. I remember immediately now.
And transfer.
Same year too. Yeah.
Wait, you said Transformers. Which one was that?
It was the fourth one, I think. Right?
Fourth
Oh, no,
one.
yeah, the fourth
when
one.
they were in the city.
Right, right. I always forget about that one. First three are goats.
Any final thoughts about the Meg?
Like, why'd you make us watch this?
So we could talk about the sequel when it comes out.
How are they going to handle? Was in the trailer they showed what, like 3 sharks coming out of the trench?
Yeah, I think it's 3.
Apparently, there was just a colony of 70-foot sharks chilling out in this trench.
Apparently,
it happens, right?
Wouldn't they have killed each other with like the lack of probably like?
Do you think the movie's going to end with like a Pacific Rim kind of thing where they have to bring a nuke down there and just blow up the breach?
Like, yeah, the megalodons are terraforming the Earth.
Yeah, they shoot a blue beam into the sky somehow.
But then they miss the trench and hit a fault line, unleashing even more sharks.
Oh man.
Oh, I got it better. They shoot their blue beam and it bounces off an antenna, and somehow the antenna hits all the great whites in the shark and makes them large, like a megalodon size. Every shark in the world becomes a megalodon size.
And they're under the control of the Meg.
It's really under the control of Harvey Weinstein.
Oh.
What? Anyway, any final thoughts, Craig? Give me a sentence of what you thought about the movie.
It was awful. They're horrible.
Daniel, give me a sentence.
It's a mindless movie.
Belongs on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, we have a tendency of watching a lot of those. It was bad. It could have been better. That's all I have to say. It could have been better. Should have been better, not could have. It should have been better. I think.
You made us watch it.
Oh, why?
You made us watch it.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, we had to prepare ourselves for the sequel, which just looks stupid, and like I said, bring on the stupid. Well, this has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I'm Colin.
I'm Craig.
I'm Daniel.
Yeah, that's our episode.